それじゃあ、パネルを始めたいと思います。パネルの4人の方には参加機関からの教訓ということでお話しいただいたわけですけれども、それぞれの機関からっていうことで、それぞれの立場からいろいろな側面でアスリスさんは、ノルウェーで経験されていることを、ダイアログで紹介して、彼女の個人的な、その見解も含めてお話になって、テッドは、国際機関からのその教訓、これまでステークホルダーをネアがやってきた、経験を踏まえて福島で学んだ教訓をお話しいただいて、ロリンジャーさんはフランソワは主にエシカルな倫理的な側面からの教訓をお話しいただきました。で、ジャックがICRP としてこの111、まさしく今までのパブリケーションに ICRP としてとは全く違った扱いになっているというのは、まさしくそれまでの放射線防護なり放射線管理で公衆が関わる側面というのはトップダウンで、つまり当局がクライテリアを決める、そういう中で成り立つ放射線防護だったわけで、そのシビアアクセントで汚染された地域で人々が生活する、その放射線防護っていうのはそういうトップダウンの扱いではとてもできないっていうのは明らかになったわけで、それはチェルノブイリの経験、それから先ほどご紹介になったそういう、チェルノブイリの経験がベースで、福島と、共通のものが、あるわけですけれども、先ほどの新井さんのご質問というか、もう先ほど最後はもうパネル討論に入っている感じだったんですが、まず私の方から皆さんにお聞きしたいのは、もうそれぞれの個人としてのフィーリングというかレッスンスターも含めてお話になったと思うんですが、この日本でこういう対話が行われたっていう、もし自分の国、つまりヨーロッパの文化、ヨーロッパや欧米のアメリカの文化の中でのこういう対話と日本独特の違いというかですね、そういうものを感じられたかどうか。福島で暮らす人々、あるいはアウトサイドから来た方々のこの対話における反応というかですね、それどういうふうにお感じになったか、一人ずつお話しいただけると。
In Norway, we have lots of open debates and discussions. Any controversial point would lead to debates on the television with different actors. There will be lots of writing comments in the newspapers. So we are used to having an open debate where any viewpoints can be presented. From what I've heard when I have discussed with people here in Japan is that you don't really have this open public debate about difficult issues. And I think that that is something that you should have had in this situation, because People didn't know which experts to trust. Even the media didn't know who they should report from. There are false truths that are persisting. And I think it could have been counteracted if you had an open public debate about these difficult issues. I think that the dialogues in themselves have been very useful for the people here. But to tackle this disaster as a nation, you should have also had open public debates about this at a national level.
I guess I can speak as an American citizen. And what I say is, in the United States, as Astrid suggested, open public debate is quite common. Most major issues result in a lot of public discussion. It often involves lawyers. That's a particularity of the United States, but the basis of it, I think the mechanisms of it are going to differ between Norway, or the Nordic countries, and the United States, and Mexico, and Spain, and France. The mechanisms will differ. The key issues are, I think, what we identified, and those are common to everywhere. The ability to develop trust, the ability to work, to find answers in a coherent fashion such that the final decision, whoever the decision maker is, represents and shows the influence and the concerns, addresses the concerns of all those involved as best possible. Someone once told me that a good compromise is when everybody leaves the table upset, at least equally upset. And I think a good compromise is often that way, but what you want to find is how everybody can be as happy as possible, and their well-being can be addressed in the most appropriate fashion. So that's common to all these discussions. The mechanisms are going to change, but the key issues, I think, are the same.
Difficult questions. In France is a very centralized country, and the tradition was to build a competent body, independent body, who intend to do good for the people, as Jacques said. But as in the all developed countries, in Japan, France, otherwise, since, I don't know, 20 years, etc., people didn't want now to look just as a discussion between industrial expert authority and okay, I trust you to discuss. Now, people, civil society, NGO, etc., ask to be part of the discussion, have to be part of the risk management, etc. But people, expert authorities are not choose to do that. Experts from USN are used when just after the school to discuss with other engineers, with other experts in EDF, etc., but not to discuss with people. We have to learn that, and it's one of the main objectives of RESN since the arrival of Jacques Chouaboussard to build this competence, this ability to be part of open discussion, to be part of open conference about any problem about the nuclear, about environment, also about safety issue, and we are trying to develop that. But we need to learn a lot yet. And about specifically the post-accidental situation, France is concerned, has many discussions with stakeholders also. ISN as a committee with stakeholders since, I don't know, 10 years or more, and with some local organization which gather trade unions, NPO, experts, elected people around each nuclear plants. We have a lot of cooperation, and we try to develop, work together to about the question of post-accidental situation, because you are convinced that the only way to build effective radiation protection in this type of situation is to do with people. It's the only way. But it's not very easy. In some countries, for instance, the Mario, okay, people do not, are not bothered about that. Why open a discussion about that? It's risky for me. And we have to do that, to learn together, and to show that it's not a revolution, but it is a progress, it's a way of improvement.
Well, I think François has summarized very well the situation about France. As far as, I would say, dialogue is concerned, it started relatively late. I think the first dialogue in the radiation protection related to radiation protection was in the late 90s in relation with the difficult debate about the potential impacts of the radioactive releases of our reprocessing plant. And in France, there was a debate there, and we could say that this was the start of trying to open a dialogue in France. And then, of course, Chernobyl and Fukushima have had also an impact on our authorities and our expert body to speed up the process of developing mechanisms to have almost a permanent dialogue during with the key stakeholders. And but it's I'm not sure that we would be ready to be immediately operational for having such a debate in case there would be a problem. We have learned a lot here, and we have to take these lessons.
日本でこういう現実の問題があるので、こういう対話が成立するわけですけれども、日本ではまさしくダイアログっていうのは原発の原子力に関して言えば、公聴会的なもの、それこそ政府がセッティングしたそういうものしか、なかったと。でそういう意味では、こういう対話で学ぶところっていうのは我々一般の市民としてすごくたくさんあると思うんですけれども、それほど時間がないので、僕はそれぞれ皆さんがいろんなレッスンズランをもう示していただいたので、その次のテーマになっちゃうんですが、今後の問題というところに視点を移したいというふうに思うんです。でジャックが説明したように111で書かれたパブリケーション111で書かれたことは、チェルノブイリで学んだ教訓からベースになってるんですが、福島でも全くその通りに当てはまるわけですね。ただ僕が思うにチェルノブイリと福島の大きな違いは、チェルノブイリはもうすでに住んでいる人たちの場でそのダイアログというかそこでジャックたちの活動があった。で日本もこの福島のダイアログの良好事例ですね、グッドプラクシス自身は、一つは伊達というローカルガバメントの良好事例の中でその教訓が学ばれ、もう一つは一般の市民の汚染されたところに、つまりリストリクションエアリアのアウトサイドなんだけれども、汚染されたところの設議という場所でローカルピープルと交わることによって教訓を得たと。ただ我々福島はこれから問題は将来を考えると、昨日有馬さんが国の立場でお話になったんですが、国の立場というより 彼個人のメッセージもだいぶあったんですが、これから日本はその帰還する戻るプロセスの中でここで学んだダイアログを彼の質問にあったようにどうそれを生かしていけるのかと、そのコミュニティレベルでやるという言い方なんだけれども、戻れる、今は分散されてるわけですね、避難されてる方で、一つ一つのコミュニティで戻るプロセスの中ではほんの最初は奈良派の例のように 5% なり 10% の方しか戻ってこれないという状況の中で、どういうふうにコミュニティレベルでその将来の展望を、国に対するアドバイスというかですね、それから地方行政に対するアドバイスとして、皆さんのご意見を聞きたいっていうのが最初の質問です。もう一つの質問はじゃあ後にします。別に一人一人じゃなくてもいいです。どなたか意見のあるか。
It's just a very difficult question to answer, so
I think that's a trick question. And I guess all I can say is that the experience that has come out of this discussion, these discussions in the dialogue for me, is that once people can have their individual concerns addressed, they can sort out what sort of future they'd like to have. And they'll have a better mechanisms to understand what they want to do and what would be the best choice for them. Which means that in terms of the 95% of the people that haven't come back to some villages, they need to have their concerns addressed in one fashion or another. And I think that shouldn't be a letter or a Skype or it needs to be something where someone actually goes and listens to them. And the resources necessary for that are enormous. So that is a genuine problem. I don't know how the government can address that. There are, it was said, 100,000 people still out of their homes. I wish you a lot of luck, but I think the solution needs to involve somehow direct contact with those individuals by people who can address their concerns, or at least give them information they might be willing to be able to use to form a good opinion of what to do.
Yes, difficult question, and I am not sure we, from the board, have some legitimacy to tell to some of you, or the people in the Fukushima time to say, well, what you have to do is that, not, we can't do that. But I think it is the same question Jacques told you finding a way to set place of dialogues, and also the importance of dissemination and of sharing. Some community here have many experience, and you can. Perhaps the only advice I can have is, you said it was very fruitful for you to visit Norway, to visit Belarus, and to share with the people living here. Perhaps it's the only advice I will have. Do people who intend to return to do that meet with people who have the experience presented in the dialogue? Facilitate the meeting, facilitate the discussion between them, and from that, perhaps you can initiate the dialogue. So the same thing at each level, for instance, facilitate the dialogue with the mayor of Date and all the mayor. Also facilitate the dialogue between different types of peoples, and after that try to initiate place for dialogue. But it's a sharing of experience, it's the key.
I think what is important is to listen what's going on around, and if there is any sign of people who are wishing to do something, to be able to respond to their expectations. That's it.
I think that it's important to respect people's choices, and there will always be somebody who will not come back. So I think that is a fact you just need to embrace. But I agree that to meet people that have their concerns and to meet them personally, to try and help them understand the situation is important. And it's also probably a role for media to report on the good stories about Svetsigi or other communities where there has been a very positive development. But it's very difficult as a foreigner to give very sort of concrete advice, what should you do at a local or regional or national level to alleviate this. But open public debate about the issue could be one solution, of course, to give more attention to it, but also then dialogues more directly targeted at the groups of people who have not yet had their concerns met by anyone.
ありがとうございます。難しい質問で申し訳ないんですけど、僕もそれを考えても、ここで学んだ教訓をどうやって他の地域に広げるかっていう、そういう、仕組みが簡単に作れるわけではないですし、現実に戻ろうとしている非常にご先生の高いところもまだあるわけですから、そういう人たちとどういうコミュニケーションが取れるか、有馬さんたちの国がそういうなんか仕組みを作るっていうのもすごく難しいというのが現実だと思います。何か会場からこういう機関に関わって何かアドバイスを求めたいとかご質問がある方いらっしゃいますでしょうか。じゃあちょっと話を今後の課題ということでもう一つ、これは先ほどアスリートの話の中に今の福島の現実っていうのは多分やはり最初のこれはリカバリーフェーズの話でもうすでに汚染のあるところに人々がどう生活するかっていう問題を扱ってるわけですけれども、そういう状況っていうのは、最初のディシジョンに非常にディペンドするわけで、最初の、計画があるいは最初のジャッジがどうであったかっていうので状況が全く変わる側面というのがすごくあると思います。ですから昨日のディスカッションの中でも今後仮に事故がどっかであるような事態になった時にやはり準備をしておくというのが最も重要なことの一つだと思うんですけれども、この特にリカバリーフェーズの人々のリカバリーフェーズを緊急時計画あるいはそういう中で準備をしておくっていう、これもまたなかなか難しい問題じゃないかと思うんですけれども、それについてはどういうお考えを持っているか。これもディフィカルトクエスチョンかもしれませんが。
I think it's very important for any country with nuclear power to include post-accident recovery phase in their emergency plans. And the question about the evacuation is one of the first ones that appear, and I think it should be a very careful consideration about the necessity of evacuation compared to asking people to stay indoors and take iodine tablets. It's something that you should really, I mean, for the authorities to contemplate about that, and also to reflect upon it with stakeholders about what would be the best solution, what could be the best solution. But of course, we must anticipate that evacuation will be necessary in some cases, but then you need to make good plans for how fast you can get monitored the areas afterwards, so that people could start moving back to the areas not so contaminated. Because after the Fukushima accident, some people could have returned after a few weeks. They were not allowed to return for a long time. So if you plan for evacuation, make sure you have good plans for how to do the screening, the monitoring, and get people to move back if they can, if it's safe, let's say. Another part that you should think about is how to educate the population about the radiation and the radiation risk. Because part of the problem here is that people don't know anything in advance, so when it happens, they are suddenly sort of left very uneasy because they do not understand the situation. They have no prior knowledge on which to pin the whole situation. If they had some knowledge, it would have been easier to start the recovery work, because people would have some knowledge and some understanding of risk. So I think those are two issues that should be addressed. And I'm not going to go through all of my thoughts. I'll leave it to the others to come up with the rest.
Well, I think I will. I've always enjoyed that chimes, I have to say. I think I'll disagree a little bit with Astrid in the sense that people are pretty smart, and each accident is going to be different. And so what I think the focus in planning ought to be on processes, because you don't know what's really going to happen, and you can think about, do a good hazard assessment and figure out what might happen, but what actually happens will be something different, because what might happen, you've probably worked to prevent that. So the results are going to be individual and site specific. And in terms of population understanding things, I think radiation is a very arcane sort of topic, and the risks for radiation are difficult to understand, but it's the same with chemicals. If there were a truck passing through Paris or around Paris that had butyl chemical, nitrogenated benzene, I don't know what, and there were an explosion and it contaminated a lot of Paris, I'd want to learn about what that is and what it does. And I'd have to do it after the fact, because at the moment I know nothing about that. And so I think that's the situation with nuclear. So the processes of helping people to understand what the science says, the state-of-the-art science, and what we know and what we don't know, is what the concentration should be on in planning, to make sure that you're ready to pass that information if it becomes necessary, because otherwise people will not pay much attention, because they're busy. They're smart, but they're busy. They've got other things to do. So I think it's process.
I'm not sure I am the good person in France to talk about that, but what I pick from Jacques' presentation also at the end, it's important from the beginning, just after the accident, to develop any efforts for characterizing the situation. For characterizing the situation, because characterizing the situation will be a tool of communication with people, with community, etc. And I will add to that, perhaps we can anticipate by thinking about how to do that also in a participative way. That means authority and expert have the responsibility to do that. But can you discuss now in a country as France about the way people can participate to characterize the situation, about the way we can share that knowledge, and it could help in the situation. Many of us said, oh, if people were well educated in radiation protection, will know some way it will be more helpful. Personally, I don't believe it's possible. We can be educated in everyone about chemicals, about biological risk, about radiological risk, etc. It is when we are confronted to the situation that some people can understand the things. But the question could be, how can we prepare with some actor in the society, some specific actor, for instance, the ones the nuclear plants who are interested in this question, can we prepare with them some material, can we build some thoughts about what will be helpful in the event of for the other people? Perhaps it's a way to prepare something.
It's a privilege to be the last one to speak because they have all said what I wanted to say. So. No, but I think 10 years ago I was almost fully convinced that preparedness for recovery was absolutely important. Because it was before Fukushima and I was building on my experience with Chernobyl. After Fukushima, I have now more doubts. I mean, it doesn't mean that we have not to do some preparatory work and think about what could be the situation and so on, and to try to anticipate as much as possible in case. But, you know, for example, I was fully convinced that in the long term, the issue after a nuclear accident is internal contamination, because that was the lesson of Chernobyl. And then suddenly, I had the evidence here that what is at stake is the external radiation. So, as you said, I think it's Ted or Astrid, there is no average accident, and everyone will have its own specificity, and we have to be aware about that, which means that there will be room for a lot of improvisation. And even if we are very well prepared, there will be a lot of improvisation, I'm sure. Preparing people about talking about the risk, it's a long-term process to make people more aware about radiation. With radiation we have a difficult history because it started at the turn of the 20th century with the discovery of X-rays and then with the discovery of radioactivity. And until the Second World War, I would say this was slowly entering into the society. But then there was Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And then, I mean, this is something we hardly touched here. And it is not probably the way, the time to discuss that. But I am fully convinced, personally, in the light of my career, that the shadow or the print of Hiroshima is so important in the mind of all people that it's distorting the whole picture about radiation. I've heard many times during the dialogue testimonies where people were saying, you know, when I learned about the accident, I was thinking I'm going to die soon. I've heard several times in the dialogue, I have no problem myself, but my concern is about the effects for my children. And all these are, I think, images which are related indirectly with what happened in 45. And so I think it will be a long process it will be mainly done through education. I don't believe in risk communication. I I mean, I've said that several times. You cannot communicate with a population on risk of radiation if it took me several years to understand, to start to understand what is at stake with the risk of radiation. How can you imagine that in 2 or 3 conferences people will understand what is at stake? I mean, there is no other way to start with the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is there is a contamination which shouldn't be there, it's there. And the question is how much, and the question is how I am exposed if I do this, if I go there, if I eat this. And then this is the way that slowly people will make their mind about what is important or not for them. If you speak about the risk of radiation in an abstract way, it doesn't help. So I'm not very, very optimistic about preparedness. I think, of course, authorities and expert bodies have to do all what they can to try to prepare and anticipate, but inevitably there will be a lot of improvisations because the scenario that people will be facing will certainly be different than the one they have worked on, and there is this deficit of culture, which is all over the world. It's not only Japan, it's also France, it's everywhere. I mean, as soon as you speak about radiation, there are some images coming in the mind of people which are distorting the whole issue. And this is a fact. We have to face it and to think about it and to talk about it and to think and reflect about it together to help people to make their mind. And people have the choice to, they are free to decide in which direction they want to go and have their own conviction about what is good for them, what is good for the society. And this, we are living in democracies. We cannot impose anything on people.
I think when you prepare for the recovery phase, part of that, if you are the authorities who are responsible for initiating something after an accident, part of that process of preparing is to actually understand what it means to people to live in a contaminated area. So we are lucky, the people who have been here, because we understand what it's all about. And I agree with Ted that when you do the planning, we talk about the processes, because we cannot know exactly what is going to happen, what is going to be the main challenge this time. But we can anticipate that we need certain processes to address the people in the affected communities. But it also means that emergency preparedness planners and radiation protection professionals needs to be educated on what it means to the public when such an accident happens. So that is also part of the preparedness. It's to actually make a radiation protection specialist understand what it's all about. It's not just the calculation of the doses and saying that this is safe, this is not safe. It's so much more. So it's the whole taking the societal view of it and putting radiation protection in it, as Ted wisely said earlier today. And I think that is part of what we should do as a radiation protection community, is to actually pass this message on to all those who are doing emergency planning, preparedness planning for nuclear accidents.
ありがとうございます。僕もその長期的なそのリカバリーフェーズのやつをいかにその準備段階でちゃんとしておくかってそれ重要だなと思ってたんですけれども、まあ重要な人たちは当局と関係者がそういう今テッドが言ったようにそれぞれの局面で事故はそれぞれ違うから、いかに早くそのイマージャンシーフェーズで 将来のそういう状況をキャラクタライズして、それにいかに早くレスポンスできるかっていうことを、当局なり関係者が事前準備をしておくと、それが一番重要なことかなというふうに思いました。で、あんまりファシリテーターが議論をファシリテートするようなうまいファシリテーターではなかったんですけれども、さっき最後のセッションで新井さんから質問もあったので、バトンを議長の方に移します。
はい、ありがとうございました。パネル討論で、このセッションでは参加機関、特に海外から参加している機関を代表されて学んだ教訓をご紹介いただきました。その中にはもちろん私たちに対するたくさんのメッセージもいただきました。その議論の中で、お二人からも非常にキーとなるクエスチョンもいただきました。それからこういう ICRP がこのような場で言っていることと現実とのギャップということを皆さんも感じられてるし、今皆さんが求めているものはこれからの例えば言い立てであり、イラン期間困難地域のところがこれからどういうふうに戻っていく回復していくのかというところにはおそらく一番関心を持っていらっしゃると思います。そのためにこういう ICRP や国や専門家やいろんな機関がどのように役割を果たしていけるんだろうかと、でその中に市民の方々がどういう役割を果たすべきなんだろうかと、そういったことがこのダイアログの一番の大きな私は成果だというふうには思うんですけれども、従来この福島の事故が起きるまではそういったことがもちろん全く議論されることもなく、従来の放射線という考え方はどちらか管理型のアプローチをしてきましたので、こういう何か災害に対する考え方っていうのは非常に無力であったことも事実であります。確かに災害というのはいろんな複雑なことが起きますので、特に今日出てきました人間的な尊厳だとか価値観だとか倫理観だとか、いわゆるヒューマンディメンジョンということを使いましたけれども、そういったものに対応することは非常に困難であったということで、それに対応していくためにはやはりこういった対話というものを作っていく、いろんな場で作ってそれぞれの思いを聞き話し、そういったことが必要だということを私たちはこれで学んだんじゃないかなと思いますので、これをいかにつなげていくかということかなというふうに思います。それをどのように伝えていくかはやはり皆さんと一緒に私たちも考えていかなきゃいけないかなというふうには思います。最後こういうまとめでございますけれども、午前中のセッションはこれで終わらせていただきます。どうもありがとうございました。
There was a question, then I said I will respond later on, and I think I have to respond. It's a difficult question, but I try to respond to it the best way. I think ICRP is preparing recommendations, and these recommendations are generally produced and published after a long process of discussion, digestion, reflection, and they reflect a consensus. It's a long process involving many people. There are more than 100 people, expert, voluntary, working voluntary for ICRP. And these experts have different backgrounds, different experience, but they try to contribute the best they can to the production, to the preparation of these recommendations, and they are fully aware about their responsibilities, because these recommendations traditionally are embarked by national authorities, international organizations for the practical implementation of day-to-day radiation protection. So there is a lot of responsibility on the people of ICRP. And I said there are different experts from different backgrounds. They try to build a consensus to come to a recommendations. This consensus is based on the best science available at the time of the decision. It's based on the ethical values that are shared and promoted by ICRP. I talk about prudence, but there are justice, there are dignity. These are the key issues we have at stake when we prepare our recommendations and our experience. But having said that, I mean, we are all individuals. And you were mentioning the case of our Japanese colleagues. I was working with him in Committee 4 a decade ago. I know him not very well, but quite well. I was listening to his positions when we were discussing preparation of publications. And I have to say that personally I was a little bit astonished, to say the least, when he took his position in front of the television here in Japan. We exchanged emails between us, between ICRP members. They say, "Oh, have you seen? Have you read what was said on TV?" It was relatively unexpected for me. I was astonished because it was, I would say, contradictory with what I was expecting from his position. Immediately I thought, oh, it has nothing to do with the expertise, it has to do with something else, with the Japanese context, with I was really not shocked, but I was astonished, and there are probably good reasons. You know, we are experts, but we are not machines. We have our convictions, we have we are sometimes trapped by the circumstances, and we are reacting as human people. And sometimes it's a little bit unexpected. Of course, given our responsibility, it's our duty to try to maintain the best line possible. You know, if we are working at ICRP, we should. I mean, I think this is our responsibility. This is maybe my personal position, but I have to promote what the recommendations of ICRP. Sometimes I'm a little bit. There are slight differences between us, you know, but we are building a consensus. This is done in a fairly way, and then we have to follow the consensus. I mean, otherwise, it's better to get out of the commission. I mean, so this is to come back to the case, the Japanese case. I was really astonished about his position because it was not what I heard from him in other contexts. And okay, there is nothing to blame. It's human reaction in a difficult situation. Regrettable, but that's it.
どうもありがとうございます。Thank you very much. それじゃあランチタイムに変えていきます。よろしくお願いします。